almost every meeting leading up to the eclipse.
Oh,
Going in the
yeah.
sun.
If it wasn't, it should have been.
Get some glasses. I think they said that the
Live.
temperature
We are live.
15 degrees though.
All right.
Oh, really?
And we are live, so we will call the meeting to order. And ask Robin Keefe, if you would, call the roll, please.
Mr. Chair. Vice Chair Jones,
Present?
Chair Lavallee,
Here.
Secretary Ritter,
Here.
and Member Parsons.
Here.
Alternate is not with us, alternate Albers, Bartlesmeyer not with us, and alternate Routerman.
Here.
Council Member Liaison Clark,
I am happy to be here.
and our Planning and Zoning Commission Liaison Cone.
Here.
All right, we do have one.
And because we're missing one official member, right, so our alternate can vote, am I correct? Are we missing?
We have,
Logan, I have an older list maybe.
we have all four of our current members, but we do have one vacancy. And an alternate filled the vacancy.
I don't think we've ever done that. Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to be sure that we're clear there. Okay, so we're all voting members, very good. All right, there were minutes of the December 14th meeting, which were shared in advance. A motion would be in order to approve. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. They are approved. And then I think we just have the one item on the agenda, which will be this sign ordinance, but in addition, it's any changes to the agenda other than that? If not, we'll proceed. We can then ask for public comments. Are there any comments, general comments, or whatever, any sort that anyone has? Or I thought I saw someone on, oh, no, I guess not. I thought there was a participant on. Oh, yeah, or including online. Anyone have any comments?
Mr. Chair, that's our applicant. If our applicant would like to make questions or comments unrelated to the application this evening, you may use the raise hand feature.
Okay. Unless we go live, there, I'll assume not. So let's proceed then with the business at hand, and it's the Woodcliff Heights Trustees Outdoor Sign Company approval for a subdivision sign. So read that into record and fill us in and see what we need to work with here.
Right, Mr. Chair, members of this board. Our one case this evening has to do with a subdivision sign. The petitioners are requesting a variance for this sign from the Board of Adjustment, particularly a variance to the width of the sign face. The subject lot of the variance request is located in northeastern Wildwood. It's just north of the intersection of Clayton and Strucker Roads. The subject lot in question that would have the subdivision sign is zoned R1A 22,000 square foot residence district. And the whole subdivision is, and it is associated with a planned residential development overlay district. So as part of those PRDs, that generally means a clustered development pattern on tensor of a higher density with large tracts of common ground associated with it. As you can see from this aerial, that same area also contains a multi-use path that connects this subdivision to the commercial areas at the intersection of Strucker and Clayton Roads. This is a picture of the existing sign at the entrance of the subdivision. This is a closer look at the existing signage there. Tonight, in a little bit, Tonight, the petitioners are requesting to replace their old sign with this new sign. And their variance request to the Board of Adjustment next Thursday has to do with the width of it. So with that tree accent that you see here, I think it's harder to see on the actual sign, but maybe easier to see here. That tree accent is what results in an overall 11.4 feet of width in lieu of the 10 feet that is required by city zone ordinance. The new sign will have a dark background with white lettering as compared to the old sign. And that brings me to the end of my presentation this evening. If you have any questions for the department at this time, Assistant Director Ripto and I are available to answer them.
We don't have the old sign in our, I was trying to look at the old sign again. It's not in our pictures here.
No, I went and did the site visit for Board of Adjustment
Okay,
this
I
past
see.
week, but
Okay.
that is the old sign.
Ms. Clark has a question.
Any questions before we ask our, yep. Ms. Clark?
Thank you. Yes, I understand this to be an replacement sign, not an addition, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, this is their entrance sign to the subdivision. There is just one sign. And also I forgot to mention that no action is requested of this board today. Again, our sign code requires that the Architectural Review Board review all signs prior to them being decided on, review all variance requests before they go to the Board of Adjustment. So we're asking for your comments, suggestions, and recommendations today, and those will be put in a memorandum that you'll have a chance to review prior to the meeting next week. Thank you.
And do we now want the gentleman from the sign company to address us?
I think they have their hand raised.
Yeah.
Has his hand
Oh, yes, okay, he's got his hand up, so go ahead, I believe you've got your this microphone
Microphone's
on.
off. Gotta click his microphone.
There you go. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes,
Yeah, so basically, the sign is the exact replacement size for what is there. But the way that when they built that big stone, I guess, entrance, there's a recess. So that existing sign was built, it was kind of recessed in there. So when they go to replace the sign, the new sign has to go in the exact same spot. It can't be centered there. And they just thought it looked odd that it was just offset to the right with nothing on the left side. So that's why the subdivision, is asking just to put a tree or something on the left side, just so it balances out. So you'd have the sign on the right, and then there would be like a 1/4 inch piece of aluminum that's just routed out there to be attached to the stone that would go on the left, just to balance that area out. I just want to make sure that everybody was understood what we were trying to do there.
so what's the width of the sign absent the tree?
It's 87 1/4 inches wide. That's how wide the existing sign is. So it'd be exact replacement. But it leaves maybe 4 feet to the left. That's just a big barren blank spot. So that's why they wanted to just put something the same height, like a little logo or tree or flower. They ended up going with a tree, just to, that way it looks balanced.
Is it black?
Huh?
Is it black? The tree?
Yeah, it would just be painted black aluminum.
Like a hole in the wall.
Yeah, it looks hard to see with the black.
Huh?
It looks hard to see it, so.
Yeah, it's tough on that artwork, but yeah, it would just be a tree, basically, that logo, and it's just cut out of aluminum and painted black. And then attached to the face of that stone.
Ms. Clark has a question?
Thank you, Chair Lavely. Yeah, I guess my comment is that, that we do have a standard code for a reason, and to allow this would open the door for allowing it for many other places as well. I'm a little. Also, there was a note at the bottom of the page stating that the color might not be the same as what it truly is. And being the Architectural Review Board, I would like to have seen the exact color, the exact shape, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Before I would give a comment about that, about how it looks. But also can't you have like a smaller, thinner tree or something that would take up less space and maybe put in the middle of the area? I'm not sure how far over that tree, the middle of that tree is in your 48.15 inches. But just thought maybe that would give a little bit less of a variation there. And my question is was this sign already made before coming in for advice, or not advice, but just comments about how we would approve it or not?
can you still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I'm muted. To the first point, what you see is what it would look like. It'd be painted black. So everything would be painted, on the right would be painted black, on the left would be painted black. But just since it's a piece of artwork and it's scanned, it's just hard to see it compared to it is in real life, but it's just painted black. So they'd be the exact same color, just painted black. And as far as the sign on the right, that sign can't move left or right because that stone is notched out. So that is actually stuck there. So that just leaves like, say, a 4-foot area to the left. And so they just wanted the tree the same height as what their sign was going to be. So that's the reason the tree was the 36 inches. So that way it matched the same height that the sign would be. If that is your question. And
Chair
then
Lavalley, if I could follow up. Chair Lavalley, may I follow up on that?
Do so.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm still stuck on, we have a standard to follow, and it does state that not only a logo, but any figure or similar character together with the outer extremities, anything in that whole area would be considered the sign. So yes, that is a 11.37 feet, which goes, is quite a percentage increase from our 10 feet. I would not want to offer a positive comment about that, because then we have other places we've asked them to stay with the size and even reduce the size in some cases after having a sign made.
Oh, in response to your question, nothing's been made yet. That was one of your questions.
Anything further, Ms. Clark?
No, thank you, Chair Lavalley.
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Jones.
I think this is a perfect example of why this would come up, because it's a restraint because of the notch that's in the sign, and I think it looks better with the tree, because I think the existing sign looks like it's off balance, and so I think that, there's variances for a reason, and this is a perfect example of why you would want one. To me, it looks much better, bigger than it does on the previous with the existing. And I don't think it's not garish or, neon colors or anything. It's pretty subdued.
Anyone else? I guess the observation I have as I'm looking is that you have a kind of rounded tree, and at least I'm going by the picture. And the tree is almost, I realize those people on screen aren't going to be able to see what I want, they will. My observation would be you've got a fair amount of distance here. This is almost right up to it. So for the purpose of our petitioner, a narrower tree, I don't know if that even then brings it within the dimensions at that point, but does it still balance it out? I mean, I hate to redesign somebody and be, I'm not a designer from that standpoint, but just by observation, is if the whole concept is to try to create more of a centering component, you actually have a tree that's making it off center. So
Do we know how much it is over the variance? Sorry.
was it 1 foot and
1.4 feet.
1.4 feet? So if,
You'd probably get pretty close if you made the negative space on the left and right the same. What you're saying.
yeah, but I understand the space on the right side, they can't really adjust because
Yeah, but
that-
we could duplicate
that's
it.
there. But whether a narrower tree would be able to fit within the dimensions of what the city's expectations are. Instead of 48 inches, it would be 48.15, it would be 37.15, no, 37. I'm round numbers if you're taking notes on it. I'm just quickly looking.
Yeah, I was looking, there's, between the edge of that sign, as you look at it, from the left side to the edge of the stone is about 53 inches.
And what about on the other side?
Yeah, what's on the other side?
Hang on, let me do some quick math here and I'll tell you that. "17 inches approximately is on the right side of the sign.
So if you squeeze the tree down to make 17 inches on the left.
Uh,
right?
so that would, so we basically you'd take probably 17 inches off the width of it, so it'd make it, so it'd just be bring it together.
Maybe more of a pear tree versus an oak tree.
Palm tree. Yeah.
I mean,
It would be the same height, so then, but
Yeah.
if you did that, yeah, it would make the tree, instead of being 48 inches wide, it would be the same tree, you just smash it basically to 36 inches.
Let's trim it up a
Or
little.
31 inches, I'm sorry.
and the only other thought is put a real tree in, but I guess you have the problem that it'll grow. And unless you have a tree that has limited growth potential or something.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Anyone?
I think
Please.
it's an improvement over the original
Yes.
sign.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is an improvement over the
I
sign.
think that the reason we have variance is to grant it for something like this.
I mean, the white letter on the black background is much more readable than the original sign.
Any other comments or observations?
I mean, we're still gonna be out of variance, even if he trims it, because if the tree's 48 inches now, I don't think he's touching completely, so there's probably, and he said there was 50.
It's
50 something.
53-inch different distance
Yeah,
between the sign and the pillar.
so that's what, 5 inches, so he's only gonna take a foot off, so we're still over by a few inches, so. I'm not sure we need to. Pick at it.
I guess our comment, I think what I'm hearing from board, I'm just saying consensus without a vote here, is that I think there's a sense as to whether you can take a second look at that tree and make it a little narrower in terms of still trying to balance out the whole sign.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting it to have the same distance on the right side of the sign as you look at the picture, which I think is about, what did I say, 17 inches maybe, to have the same on the left side. So yeah, then it'd just be a matter of shrinking, the width of that tree, keep the same height, but just for a better word, just mash it, bring it together.
Yeah.
It is a well-rounded tree. It doesn't need to be as well-rounded.
Yeah,
Any other comments? That will conclude them for, unless does the staff have anything else as a result of this discussion?
No, just we'll take what we heard this evening and summarize it in a memorandum for your review prior to the meeting next week, like we've done before in these instances. If there's anything that I summarized incorrectly, or if you feel that I interpreted anything wrong, just go ahead and shoot me a comment back and I'll adjust accordingly.
Okay. And anything else that we need to discuss this evening? Don't have anything else on the agenda.
Is there any update on whether we're gonna keep the board or not?
So it went before the Planning and Zoning Commission on April 1st. And so, yeah, you're absolutely welcome to watch that meeting. There's staff report additionally. From there, they did recommend keeping the board with some changes to it, but it's still in the very beginning stages of planning it. It will be before P and Z again next month, so the first Monday of the month. And there should be further discussion from there.
Okay.
And so the soonest it would go before the city council would be probably June. But yeah.
And do you recall what changes they were recommending?
So there was a list of changes. One was making it a smaller size for the board, licensed architects. I think there was also opening it up to not just residents of the city of Wildwood and or possibly, contracting with somebody.
Yeah, if they were unable to find a resident who was an architect, wasn't subject to term limits, and there was an option to hire an outside architect, a qualified architect, not just any individual.
Correct. Yeah.
And then
so-
limited the membership to 3. And then there was a discussion as to possibly a change in the term that someone could serve on the board.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, whether they addressed the term limits issue.
It was brought up, for sure, and it was, rather than 3 years, it would be 5 years. From what I got out of the meeting, I don't think that they wanted to move forward with extending the term limits.
Right, there was a
but-
question of, would someone really want to commit to 5 years?
Right,
It might
right.
be even more difficult to find someone to sit on the architect's review board is
Sure.
committed to a longer term.
And so, it'll go back before P and Z, and so there's still a lot of approval and a lot of conversations, and things could definitely shift, but those were the discussions that were brought up. But yeah, so it'll still be a while.
Are those reflected in the notes of the meeting?
So the minutes haven't been posted yet for that meeting, but there is a staff report attached with the department's recommendation that does include the list of things that they discussed, and the video for the meeting is online, so you're welcome to watch it and see
Yeah,
what.
if you could share the minutes with the staff notes or whatever, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'll send a link to the meeting so that you can watch that if you'd like.
And then the next one will be, you said the first,
The first Monday in May is planning and zoning. And it would have to go back before planning and zoning before it moved on to city council. So that would be the next time there would be discussion. And so this time it was an information report, and so it would go back to planning and zoning in the form of a letter of recommendation. So
Is that at 6?
6:30, I believe, yeah. Is it 6?
At 6?
6.
Could be. I'll I was gonna say, I'll verify when I send the link
Okay,
out for
Thank you.
with the agenda item. I'll confirm.
6th of March. I know because that's our anniversary.
No, I mean 6 o'clock.
6.
Oh, the time, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But happy anniversary.
Oh, okay, time of the meeting, I'm sorry, I misunderstood that part.
Ms. Clark's raising her hand.
Oh, okay, Ms. Clark, sorry.
On another item under other items. Just a couple things I wanted to mention before I leave my chair here. That we do call old business, we label it as old business. And not too long ago, I had a class on the Sunshine Law, and the correct terminology was pointed out in that to call it old business. I'm sorry, unfinished business instead of old business. That was something that was brought up, and the Missouri State government said that we should call it unfinished business. The second thing is when we have no old business, occasionally we say, is there any more old business, even though it says none on the agenda? But by Sunshine Law, we should not be discussing any other old business or unfinished business if it is not on the agenda. We can bring it up in the miscellaneous, but we couldn't have any discussion or voting on anything that is not on the agenda. Just 2 points of order.
Okay, well, thank you. And I can't make out your name on the screen from here, but your hand is still up. Did you have further comments, sir?
No, I'm just hanging out because
Okay, you're welcome to hang out. Me.
I'm good. I'm good to go.
Get something else to
Good to go.
share.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else have anything? If not, a motion to adjourn is in order.
That motion.
Motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we're